So, look, whether subconsciously or not, or whether caused by laziness or not, jumping to unsubstantiated claims to denounce events as agenda-driven every time they disalign with your views is in itself an agenda. Look, this is going out to the few who may not be some of the few who will watch this, but an observation. I see people viewing an event and their takeaway is driven by seeking and identifying a created or hypothetical agenda driver that is behind the event. You have 3 people conduct themselves in a certain manner, and you'll have someone witness it and say, oh, it was fun by so-and-so that they're politically differed from or ideologically opposed to. Oh, it's funded by this country, this ethnicity. It's funded by the far right. It's funded by communists. It's funded by China. It's funded by Antifa. It's an agenda. Agendas exist, but to discount the possibility of 3, 4, 5 individuals behaving a certain way without requiring it to have been backed by an agenda is again in itself an agenda, and one that deludes yourself. Maybe you're right in that one instance, but it's ridiculous and delusional. And oftentimes it's a premise of, oh no, my views or my position or my stance is being threatened by this opposition and the agenda that they're pushing. And sometimes you'll use evidence based on the actions of 10 people that are being disruptive. Okay, so you feel that the nation you live in, or your own self, or your political party is threatened by an agenda-pushing entity that only has deep enough pockets and influence to muster up 10 homeless people. And I'm not disparaging homeless people. I'm thinking of a particular instance, which is why I say that. And homeless people are not the demographic that is utilized by agenda pushers, right or wrong. It is not the people who influence society on the highest levels, which is what the purpose of agenda pushing is. The case I'm referring to is Nathan Phillips Square in Toronto. Where you have some homeless, some not, protesters, small quantity of people. 2 million people in the city, 2+. much more in the Greater Toronto Area, the GTA. It's fine to be opposed to what they're doing, but to think that it's some kind of anarchistic, socialist, or communist agenda being pushed or funded. So you're telling me that you think the country is being taken over? And the homeless people that are part of Nathan Phillips Square, who are using it for a place to live, what? So they're getting paid? By what? By whom? And that was the only person available for the job. And they're going to take over the country. I'm kind of mixing a message here. My thoughts are aligned with the Nathan Phillips Square, but my broader message applies overall. This is probably one I should have scripted first, and that's my apology, but my grand point is that, again, there's so many times where you're grasping at straws to suggest that something is funded or orchestrated as an agenda, and to always declare that it is part of an agenda is an agenda.